Hi, I'm Gail and welcome back to lowcarbrecipe.ideas.com. Today we're going to make a low-carb spaghetti with a meat sauce. But today, instead of using regular noodles or zucchini noodles or what other kind of noodles, we're going to use a butternut squash noodle, which is absolutely delicious with this meal. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the angel hair out of the butternut squash. Now what I've done is I've already worked on it. I guess I probably should have had the whole squash so you could see what it looked like, but it's long and narrow, and the long part of it was so much easier to use in the machine to make my angel hair compared to the rest of this. So I've left this to kind of show you what to do. Here is my angel hair squash. Now a lot of it turned out, but when it come to this section here, I had to cut it up, and it was quite difficult to do it, but it still worked pretty good. But I do have some kind of chunks that stayed. So the first thing we do is we're going to take our spoon and we're going to take out the seeds and the guts of the butternut squash. Make sure that's all cleaned out. So what I've done with the bottom half of the butternut squash is I just cut it in half, and I'm going to do it one more time because we have to make it fit in my spiral slicer. Just going to take the core off the bottom there. So I'm just slicing them into pieces and then I'm peeling them, and I've just taken my knife and I'll peel the skin off of each section of the butternut squash. You could even use your potato peeler also. It does work. It's a little time consuming, but it's worth it in the long run. So I'll keep working on taking the peelings off of the butternut squash, and then we'll continue. So I've peeled the bottom half of the butternut squash, and I've cut them into pieces. And it is a little more difficult doing it this way because they're not straight compared to what the stalk of it was, like the narrow part. So we're just going to put them in the spiral, and it just doesn't work as well, but you still get the little slivers of it. But you still have nice spaghetti, but then you're going to have a little bit of bigger pieces here and there. So just do the pieces in this, or you can slice them up with your potato peeler and make them long and narrow also. There's different ways you can do it. I chose to use a spiral, and I will continue and get them finished. So I finished shredding all of my butternut squash. Now you're going to find that there's some of them, they're like strips, but there's still a little bit of chunks, but that's not going to hurt at all. It's all going to be delicious. Now this is my leftovers that I had, so I'm not going to waste any of my squash. So I'm just going to chop it up, and it will go in with my ground beef when I start cooking that up. So we don't want to waste any of this butternut squash. So for our tomato sauce, we're going to need a pepper. So I'm just going to give you a little quick trick on how to do the peppers. So you're cutting off the end, the top, and the bottom, and you're not going to waste the top or the bottom either. And all you're going to do is take your knife and just go along the edge, and you've got that cleaned out. And then take it along the edge here, and you've got it all cleaned out. So you just set that aside, and then make sure you got all your seeds gone, and you don't waste the top because that's still good. Just cut around. It's just so much easier than trying to scoop out the stuff without opening it up. So I just wanted to show you. So I'm just going to chop this pepper up for our spaghetti sauce. I have 2 pounds of lean ground beef in my skillet, in my pan. And then I'm going to add 2 cups of bacon crumble into this, and this really makes it special, nice flavor. So we're just going to mix this up. And the bacon crumble is basically the same kind of bacon that you put on the top when you go to restaurants and they have that, when they're making pizza, they have the bacon on the top, the crumble. That's what I am using. Now in our town we have Rico, it's RICCO. They sell it frozen in big bags, and I just love bacon and I use it quite a bit. So I'm going to mix this in here. Now I also have a medium-sized white onion that I chopped up, so we're going to put that in there. And we have the small pepper, red pepper that I had. Now I'm putting all my ingredients in, and I'm just going to cook it all together. So that means all of the onion, the pepper, and my spices, everything will cook right into the meat and it'll be absolutely delicious. So I have a teaspoon of oregano, a half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. You can put more in if you would like, just to have a little bit more of a kick to it. And I have a teaspoon of garlic powder. And I'm just going to cook this up, and then we will add our sauce. My meat is all cooked, so now we're going to add 2 cups of marinara sauce. Now this is just a quick and easy recipe, because sometimes you get home from work and you just don't have enough time to prepare all of your cans of tomato and your tomato paste and everything else. So put in 2 cups of marinara sauce. Now what I used was Kirkland product marinara sauce, and it is net carbs. It is 6 net carbs for half a cup. So that's 24 carbs for all of this mixture that we have in this pot, in this frying pan. So I'm just going to let this simmer, and now I'm going to steam my noodles. Now I have my spaghetti sauce just simmering now, and I have all of my butternut squash in the steamer. There's 2 options. You use the steamer, and we're going to steam it for 5 minutes, or you could put it in the oven on a cookie sheet with some olive oil and just bake it at 350 for approximately 5 minutes also. But I'm going to put it in the steamer because this is one of my favorite machines to be using for many things, of my vegetables to steaming eggs and the whole bit. So I'm going to do 5 minutes, and then our supper should be ready. One thing I forgot was I had that leftover squash that I chopped into little pieces, and I'm just mixing this in with the spaghetti sauce because I don't want to waste any of it. It's just very good, healthy stuff to be eating, and we'll just mix it in there and cook it in with the sauce. So you cook this down so that there isn't any runny liquid in there. So it took me approximately, I guess, 15 minutes for that to happen. So we're all set to go. Okay. So here's my spaghetti noodles. And it worked out to be cooked 300 grams of cooked squash. And I put a cup of the mixture into the on top of the noodles. It's quite delicious. Just mix it all up. You can put more of the spaghetti sauce on if you would like. So here is my spaghetti with butternut squash, the noodles. It's very nice. I'm sure you're really going to enjoy it. And it's a very quick meal to make. So if you go to lowcarbrecipe.com, try this recipe and try others. We'll see you in the next video. Bye now.